With the Rolex Submariner being one of the most popular watches in the world, it's absolutely natural that it is also going to be one of the most imitated and replicated and homaged. So with all the homage options available for the Rolex Submariner, which one is the best? What is up, guys? Anthony from Chronometer Check here, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Steinhart Ocean 39 Black Ceramic Edition. Now, I believe this Steinhart Ocean 39 is definitely up there in the running for the money, and I'm going to discuss in this video why I think it's such a good value. But first, customary little bit of a wrist check. We got the Seiko Presage Cocktail Time. I've been in the house a lot lately, and I felt like wearing something that would make me feel like a real person. So Seiko Cocktail Time it is. I have it on this beautiful woven single pass strap from Vario. It's absolutely beautiful. I think it makes this Cocktail Time just casual enough that I could just wear it lounging around the house, but also still relatively classy, clean, somewhat dressy. So Vario was actually nice enough to send me not only this strap, but also a few more to give away to my Chronometer Check community. So I'm extremely excited to be able to offer that to you guys. So stay tuned to the end of the video to find out how. I'll leave their link in the description below, as well as the link to this beautiful Seiko Presage. So the reason you all clicked the video, the Steinhart Ocean 39. Now this is a homage that is no secret that it's homaging and very, very highly inspired by the Rolex Submariner. There are a few key differences that I think kind of like really differentiate it from the Rolex, and I think in a very, very good way. The first one being the 39mm diameter. I think it's absolutely phenomenal the way it wears. It's just perfect on my wrist. It has a relatively condensed lug to lug of 47mm. We'll get more into dimensions in a bit, but just know that it wears beautifully, and I think that's something the modern Rolex Submariners are a little bit more bulky, more inflated maxi case in general, whereas this is kind of a little bit more condensed, a little bit smaller, a little bit more compact in general, so it could fit a variety of wrists rather perfectly. It also does have a crystal clear crystal. This is a sapphire crystal with blue anti-reflective coating, double coated. It's beautiful. Like, you could just see right through this thing. I absolutely love it. If I buy a mid-tier or high-tier watch, it needs anti-reflective coating. Otherwise, it's sometimes, you know, if you have a certain crystal that doesn't have a nice coating on it and is an otherwise good watch. Perfect example is SARP 33. I think it's a fantastic watch. I absolutely love it, but the anti-reflective coating is either non-existent or not very good. So it kind of detracts from the watch, makes the whole crystal a little bit cloudy, makes the dial a little bit less appealing in my opinion. Now, the dial on this watch is actually kind of like a matte. If you could see that, it's like a matted dark gray, but in most lighting, it tends to look very, very dark black. In some direct lighting, it can even look like a stark black, but in some lighting, you could actually really notice the texture and matting of the dial, and I think it's just very subtle, but it adds visual interest. It's a very, very nicely done. You can see that there was lots of detail and thought that went into this. It also does have a ceramic bezel insert, as you see here. Now, this model was a limited edition black ceramic with this particular bezel insert. You could still find the Steinhart Ocean 39. However, you won't be able to find it, at least to my knowledge, with this particular bezel insert. The new one is engraved, kind of more like a modern Rolex Submariner is, so you'll have to kind of pick and choose. This one in particular, I absolutely love it. Like, for my style, I think it's cool enough that it kind of sets the watch apart from other watches with a ceramic bezel. It flies under the radar, very stealthy, clean, and I think it even contributes a little bit to kind of the dressy feel of this watch. Of course, it is, you know, the Submariner is kind of a little bit of both. It's very sporty, it's rugged and tough, but it also has a little bit of a dressy appeal to it because of how simple and clean it is. Now, this bezel insert, I feel like, just perfectly captures that and just adds to the dressy appeal. So I think, you know, I've worn this in formal attire, and I think it just works absolutely perfectly. Overall, the watch is just really, really well done. You could see the finishing of the brushed. It is a mostly brushed finish, especially on the top of the case and the bracelet. Except for on the sides, you do have some polishing that's okay. And as you can see, it is not only a scratch magnet, but also a fingerprint magnet. We do have a signed Steinhart crown with the S, which is very, very nicely done. Just a quick little interruption that has some good news. Giveaway time. These straps were supplied by Vario at no charge to me to give away to the community, so big thanks to them. I'll leave their links down below. All you have to do to be able to win one of these is leave a like in the video and let me know down below which of these you want. They are all 20 millimeters, a slightly different colorway. As you can see, this one does have black hardware, while the other two have silver hardware, so keep that in mind. And also, I did start a Facebook group. Yes, that's some big news, actually. We're growing like crazy. We have over 7,000 members. I'll leave that link in the description below, as well as links to my blog post where you can see more detailed review of this, Instagram, where I post watch stuff every day, etc. And with that said, let's get back to our regularly scheduled programming. Now, this bracelet is something that really surprised me when I got this watch. You know, with these mid-tier watches, you do hope and expect that you get a solid bracelet because, you know, a rubber strap, a leather strap can always be replaced for something else, but the bracelet is more or less you get what you get and you don't get upset, or hopefully you're not upset at all. Hopefully you're really happy with it. And I must say, I am absolutely over the moon with this bracelet. It is completely solid throughout, including the end links. It does have screws to adjust it, and adjusting it was simple as 1, 2, 3. Now, the one thing that I did not like is actually the included clasp, which I don't have on my watch. This is a third-party aftermarket clasp that I replaced because I did not like the stock clasp whatsoever. It was friction-based, and you kind of needed a lot of force to kind of click it open, and it just didn't really do the job for me. Whereas this is 16 millimeters, as the bracelet does taper from 20 to 16. So I put this on, and I just love it so much better. It's push button. It is machined very well. It's absolutely gorgeous. I think it's the way to go for this type of bracelet. Regardless, now that I have it on this buckle, I absolutely love it. I think it works perfectly. The included buckle was fine. It's signed with Steinhart and everything, but just the friction base and no button to me was kind of a deal breaker. Another cool little design cue that you see, the level of attention to detail that goes into this watch is this little insignia, which I don't know if this is like a particular logo of theirs or something, but it's just kind of cool and interesting and has actually like a really nice texture to it on the back. It does have a Swiss automatic movement, as it says here. And speaking of movement, the movement in here is actually phenomenal, and one of the things that makes this watch such a great value for the money, in my opinion. Now, the movement in this watch is a Swiss ETA 2824-2. But the movement is absolutely phenomenal. This movement is a Swiss movement that you'll even see in watches like Tudor, Hamilton, etc. So considering you're getting in a sub $500 watch, that's pretty impressive. It does have 28.8 beats per hour. So look at how smooth that second sweep is. I don't know if you could see that, but it ticks 8 times a second, and it's extremely accurate within, I believe, 5 to 12 seconds per day of accuracy. So really good, and my watch is well within that specs. I think it loses 6 seconds a day, not a big deal, who cares. It also does have, of course, hand winding, as you'd expect in a watch in this price range. It also does have a date wheel, which works when you push the crown out just one tick. You could see it just snaps over perfectly. Like, it's very crisp and satisfying, clicky, mechanical feel. Now, as you see, there is some writing on the text: Ocean 1 at 1,000 feet, 300 meters. Automatic movement, professional. This is 1,000 feet. Oh man, 1,000 meters would be absolutely insane. But this is 1,000 feet rated dive watch, 300 meters. That's more than a professionally certified dive watch. I've swam in this. I've went in the shower in this. I've basically everything you could do. I've done it in this watch. It does have BGW9 Supernova Lume, which is okay. I like the color. It's a very nice blue. It doesn't charge up that easily to me. Maybe that's because I don't go outside enough, but to me, the times I do go outside and I go inside, I'm like, hey dude, where's my Lume? So one thing about this bezel insert to keep in mind is that it is very sloped. So that means when you do go to grab it, yes, it is a coin edge bezel, so it has all these serrations around it. So theoretically, you should be able to get a good purchase, but because it is so sloped and the watch is relatively thin, it can be hard to kind of get a grip on it. But once you do, it's relatively easy to turn, very smooth action, and absolutely locks into place. 60 clicks, unidirectional, absolutely amazing. I like it. So let's go over the dimensions real quick. It does have a lug width of 20 millimeters. It has a lug to lug of 47 millimeters, relatively condensed lug to lug. So I like that it doesn't hang over my 7-inch wrist at all. You do even have some room to play. If you have a little bit smaller wrists, it's gonna wear just fine for you. I think this is a watch that will absolutely wear fantastic for almost any wrist size. It is about 12 millimeters thick, and that is without the Cyclops, which, oh yeah, by the way, it does have a Cyclops, which frames the date wheel near perfectly. I know some people hate Cyclops. They're relatively easy to remove. You just hold a lighter to them. Don't worry, you're not going to damage your crystal. You hold the lighter to it enough and it's just going to pop right off. You might need to clear up some glue or residue with some, alcohol wipes or whatever, but not that big of a deal. One really great thing this watch, because it is so monochrome and simple, just like the Rolex Submariner, is it's an absolute strap monster. You can wear this on basically any strap. A couple of my favorites are, either a brown or black vintage leather. Kind of gives you that classic cool look. You go with a simple gray NATO or really any color. You really can't go wrong. And I'll put links in the description to Amazon for a couple of my recommendations or straps that I like to wear this on personally. But that's a good thing. As long as it's 20 millimeters, you really can't go wrong with straps on this watch. Of course, there are other Submariner Homages in this price range, or even a lot cheaper, such as, the Invicta Pro Diver. Lorio has been popping up lately. Orient Mako and Rayline or Komatsu. Those are all kind of some Submariner-esque watches. But this, I promise you, is kind of like a step up from them in terms of quality. It is very, very closely resembling the Submariner, and I understand that level of homageness is not for everyone, and that's okay. If you don't like homages, this isn't the watch for you. I think it's a really good watch for the money, and in a way, it's a real testament to what you do get when you're buying a luxury watch, like where all that money goes. A lot of it is to the brand name. When you're buying a watch like this, you're really paying more for the build quality and materials, because it's not something that you're buying into the name necessarily. You're more so paying for the build quality and the work that they put into. So to wrap things up, a couple final notes. Yeah, I think this is amazing value for the money. It has a Swiss movement, a really solid bracelet, anti-reflective sapphire coating that's crystal clear. It's really, really well built, and you can kind of really see that and feel that as soon as you pick up this watch, how hefty, substantial it is. It doesn't feel like a watch that's, it's not questionable when it's on your wrist. It's there. You feel the presence. You feel like you're wearing a quality piece. Thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch this review. A couple of things I want to plug real quick. I did start a Facebook group, Affordable Mechanical Watch. We have over 7,000 active members. It's been blowing up recently. We're gaining like 200 or 300 members a week, so feel free to join. Link in below. I'll put my Instagram. I post affordable mechanical watches and my thoughts on them. I ramble about them. If you want to get involved, I would love for you to check me out in the description below. Check out the blog for more detailed information, pictures, etc. of this bad boy. And with that said, thanks for watching.